voting tomorrow on the next reconciliation bill. I have all the details and what you need to know right here in the video, so let's get right into it. All right, we got an announcement out of Chuck Schumer, who is the leader of the Senate on the Democratic side, and he announced that the Senate will be reconvening tomorrow to hold a procedural vote on the next reconciliation bill, which is the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022. Now, once they hold this procedural vote, they will then go into 20 hours of debate on this. After they wrap up the 20 hours of debate, then they're going to go into the unlimited vote-a-Rama. Remember, we've talked about this one previously with other reconciliation bills that they've talked about, but this is where any senator can come in and file amendments, and then they go through this vote-a-Rama process where they literally vote on hundreds and hundreds of different amendments for the bill. So we anticipate this is probably going to take a very, very long time. But again, we'll have to see what actually happens here, but this is all going to be set up for tomorrow. Now, here's the thing. After tomorrow, it is not going to be a done deal yet. In fact, the Senate parliamentarian, who is like the referee when it comes down to these reconciliation bills, just got some of the text and the provisions of that bill today. Well, it's highly unlikely that she's been able to have the time to review it and determine if what they actually want to do within this bill is actually within the confines of the rules of reconciliation. So, we're not quite sure when the Senate parliamentarian will have all of this information wrapped up and when she will have her final assessment of this bill, but she just got some of those provisions today, and it's likely going to take some time to actually review this. Now, I did not see how many pages this bill is. I have not been able to find that information, but generally these reconciliation bills are usually thousands of pages long. The reason I say that, the last couple of bills that they've had come through that are reconciliation bills, usually they're like 2,700 pages, 5,500 pages. I mean, usually they are huge, huge documents. So just imagine one person reading all that and making sure that all the lines and the words and everything is worded perfectly so that it's within the rules of reconciliation. Do you think that's going to take like 2 hours one day? I don't think so. That's going to be a very long, drawn-out process, right? So the fact of the matter is, the Senate will be reconvening again tomorrow, like I said, which is actually a little bit surprising considering they're going to be meeting on a weekend. Wow, they must have a pretty rough life. I feel so bad for these people. They have to work on a weekend. Oh man, must be rough to be a senator these days. I don't feel bad for them one bit. I feel like they should sit there and do their work because they're trying to get out of town anyway. So I feel like, either do something or, whatever. But anyway, yes, they will be back tomorrow again. Sorry, sometimes I instill my opinions in these videos. I apologize. I try not to do that. But I think the fact of the matter is, all of us, I think, are feeling a little bit frustrated with Congress these days, considering they're not doing much for us, right? Oh yeah, which by the way, what's in this bill for us? A whole lot of nothing. The bill has absolutely nothing for the people. In fact, of this bill, it has $433 billion of spending. Roughly $363 billion of that is for climate funding, and the other money within there is about $80 billion in there for the IRS and a variety of other expenses in there. But for the most part, that encompasses about all of it, about the $433 billion of this bill. So the fact of the matter is, there's not much in there. There's not a whole lot in there. Unless we want to put maybe solar panels on our house, or maybe we want to buy an expensive $60,000 electric vehicle. If we want to do one of these things, then maybe we could get a little tax credit. Other than that, that's about it. But you got to put the money up front first to make the investment, and then you get the little tax credit, right? So not feasible for the vast majority of people. But anyway, this is the bill that we've been talking about for a little while now. Again, the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022, just like we've been talking about, and as the reports are hitting the wire left and right now, that continue to show that this bill is actually not going to actually reduce inflation as the title of it suggests it's going to, but rather it's actually going to increase inflation, according to the most recent reports, and economists are basically begging them, please do not pass this bill right now because it's just going to add even more fuel to the fire that this inflation is actually dealing with right now. And also, the Federal Reserve is continuously working on raising interest rates to hopefully bring down this inflation. But again, it's kind of hard to do that when all of a sudden they're possibly making a little bit of headway with lowering this inflation a little bit, and then they come in and pass another $433 billion package. It's just not going to work that way, right? The Federal Reserve is behind the curve. Well, we've known that for a long time. The Federal Reserve has been behind the curve for a very long time now, but if they just add another $433 billion onto the flaming inferno already, then guess what? It's just going to make it even more intense, right? So We'll see what happens here. Again, I don't have any authority over this. Of course I don't. But the fact of the matter is that this is what the reports are now saying out there. And again, I like to read both sides of the story. But even though there are multiple different reports out there, a lot of the reports continue to come out and show that this Inflation Reduction Act is completely wrongly named. It's not going to reduce inflation at all, according to what they're actually saying. Maybe at some point in a few years from now, just very minor reductions to inflation. But other than that, not a whole lot. So anyway, the votes will be coming in tomorrow. And again, this is just the procedural vote. Basically what this means is they're going to be holding a procedural vote on this. It's not the final votes on this thing. Once they pass the procedural vote, which they probably will, which by the way, it just needs a simple majority. When they pass this thing, then that basically just opens it up for the debate, right? So they basically vote on it and say, hey, can we vote to start debating on it? And of course, they're going to get their votes that they want. They're going to start the debate on it, and then that's going to bring up to 20 hours of debate on this bill. And again, at that point, after they sit there and they talk for 20 hours, which they probably will, they'll probably spend all of the entire 20 hours of that. Then they go into this vote-a-Rama process. So at that point, then they typically will be voting on hundreds of amendments. Now, typically, when we've seen this before, I don't remember the exact numbers, but a year and a half ago or so, when we went through the process of passing the American Rescue Plan, which was the $1.9 trillion package that was passed back in March of 2021, I don't remember the exact number, but I remember talking about it at the time. There were hundreds and hundreds of amendments. Like the day before the vote-a-Rama was supposed to start, or whatever it was supposed to be, there were like 560 amendments or something like that filed. It was like a huge amount, and they had to sit there and vote on all these things, right? So it's kind of like one after the other, like boom, 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 right? So they're like going after one after another at all these amendments. The vast majority of them will fail. We already know that. But the whole point of all this is to kind of milk it all out, and of course to actually drag this process out to possibly not pass the bill. That's the whole purpose behind this, is to kind of tire them out, right? It's like, well, I don't really know. I was trying to think of an analogy, or you're trying to tire something out, but the fact of the matter is that's basically what it comes down to is like, you know, just going through this voting process, and it just gets really old, and they sit there for a very long time. Usually it goes all night, so we'll see. Hopefully they have some coffee, but really, I don't really care. If they don't have coffee, I couldn't care less if they don't. If they fall asleep at their desk, whatever. I don't really care. That's their problem, not ours, right? So anyway, you can kind of see here, I think we're all kind of completely sick of Congress at this point. They've done absolutely nothing for us, so why should we really care about them, right? At the end of the day, this is what it's going to come down to. And then if for some reason we do get some information out of the Senate parliamentarian, who knows, within the next couple of days here, then again, she's either going to give the green light or the red light, or I suppose possibly a yellow light, saying, yeah, sure, you can go ahead, or no, this needs to be fixed, or stop right there. This is not okay. We got to fix this up before we can move any further. So it's all up to the Senate parliamentarian. At this point, yeah, they could potentially start moving forward a little bit with this thing, but until the Senate parliamentarian actually gives the final okay on this bill, there's not going to be any action on this thing. They cannot move forward with this unless they get the final okay from her. And like I said, the Senate parliamentarian is one person to read through the entire bill. And I would anticipate this bill is probably at least a minimum of several hundred pages, probably 1,000 or more pages. I would anticipate, just considering the other last few bills here that we've seen that were reconciliation bills, thousands and thousands of pages, right? So that's what I would anticipate. Like I said, I did not see the official number as far as how many pages this thing is, but I would anticipate it's pretty long, just like all the other reconciliation bills. Anyway, as I've always said, I want to make sure that you're staying updated with everything going on. So these are the updates that I have for you. Just a real quick one here to kind of lay it all out for you and let you know what's going on with this reconciliation bill. Let you know that they're going to be back tomorrow, and the poor senators will have to work on a Saturday. Oh, darn. Yeah. You know what? That's what real life has to do sometimes. You gotta work on a Saturday sometimes. It's just how the world works, right? We've all been there, done that. So anyway, I'll be back tomorrow in more videos, as always. And again, I don't take days off. In fact, I've made videos literally every single day for at least, wow, how long has it been? I should go back and look. It'd be interesting. I literally have made videos every single day. Even holidays, yes, Christmas, New Year's, Thanksgiving, all the holidays and everywhere in between for, wow, what is this, 22, 21, like almost coming up on 3 years. Well, let's be fair, not quite 3 years. So I would say at least a solid 2 years, every single day. I've made videos every day. Rain or shine, sick or not, which, by the way, there were a couple days in there where I actually did have a kind of a bad cold, like, I don't know, a year and a half ago, something like that. There was a couple days in there where I was really having a hard time because I was having a pretty hard, a really kind of strong cold at the time. And I was like, you know what? I still got to make some videos for my audience and make sure that the community is staying updated with everything going on. So anyway, the fact of the matter is, this is just what we got to do. We got to work sometimes on weekends. Saturdays, Sundays, all day, every day, holidays. That's just what happens. So anyway, the fact of the matter is, even when Congress is not here for you, don't worry, I am, and I want to do whatever I can to help you out. Here's what I'm going to ask of you. Go back and watch some other videos here on the channel. This just a few days ago, throughout this week, I've been having some pretty cool videos here out for you. Go back and check out some of the other videos here. If you land on the right ones, make sure to leave those comments down below, as I'm choosing names out of the comments section about 5 days a week, and I'm choosing hundreds of people every single week where I'm sending out some really cool things to you. So make sure to go back and watch some of those other videos, and also do me a huge favor, share them with your friends, family, and social media. With that being said, enjoy your day. Hope this update helps you out, and I'll catch you again later.